everyone, welcome to another Amtrak Fan 2004 video. Today's video, we will be covering the service expansion of the Capital Corridor and Gold Runner / San Joaquins, which are two state-supported routes in California, which are operated by Amtrak providing the train crews, but the state will pay for the funding of the services. Before we begin, for those of you who don't know what these two services are, the Capital Corridor is a train service that runs between Sacramento and Oakland, with some trains going to San Jose and a train going to Auburn. The Capital Corridor runs throughout majority of the western Alameda County and parts of the Contra Costa County, as well as some parts that are south of Sacramento. And of course, there are some trains that go to the San Joaquins Valley. The other state-supported route, which is the Gold Runner, previously known as the San Joaquins, is a route that goes through the Central Valley, with trains going between Oakland and Bakersfield and 2 round trips going to Sacramento to Bakersfield. The Gold Runner train stops through stations like Stockton, Modesto, Fresno, and Merced, sharing stations with Capital Corridor such as Martinez, Oakland, and Emeryville, with several bus connections to other destinations like Reno, Yosemite Valley, and Los Angeles. Now that we have a brief overview of these two routes, let's begin with the Capital Corridor. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Capital Corridor ran about 5 to 6 round trips between Auburn and San Jose, with some trains going as far as to Sacramento only from San Jose, and some other trains going from Sacramento to Oakland. As the years passed, more trains were added as ridership was growing and the pandemic was almost fully cured. Now, there are 15 round trips on weekdays for the Capital Corridor, with 1 round trip going the full route between Auburn and San Jose, with an additional 6 routes between Sacramento and San Jose, and the remaining 8 trains going between Sacramento and Oakland. And for the weekends, the schedule still remains with 11 round trips, with 1 round trip going the full route from Auburn to San Jose, followed by 5 routes between Sacramento and San Jose, and the other 5 routes going between Oakland and Sacramento. Despite the growing ridership, the weekend schedule and frequency for the Capital Corridor has not changed since roughly 2024, where it has remained the same with 11 round trips. The only slight changes, however, were the times that the trains came, but the weekdays was where the biggest changes were. More trains were added, timetables were flipped around, arrival and departure time for the trains has changed, and more importantly, for Capital Corridor, trains have now become 5 cars long, where instead of 4. Now that a lot of Bilevel sets are no longer needed on the Amtrak Gold Runner, formerly San Joaquins, and this will allow for Capital Corridor to fit more passengers onto their trains. Now, let's move on to the Amtrak Gold Runner, formerly called the Amtrak San Joaquins. Back then, the Amtrak Gold Runner, the name Gold Runner was given to the route in November of 2024 when SJJPA took over operations of the route. It followed the old San Joaquins timetable, with 5 trips going between Oakland, Jacqueline Square, and Bakersfield, and 1 round trip between Bakersfield and Sacramento. Once 2026 began, the second round trip that was previously removed from Sacramento to Bakersfield was brought back. Train 701, leaving Bakersfield in the early morning, and Train 704, which left Sacramento at around 5 p.m. The Gold Runner service also runs the new Siemens Mobility Venture cars, with 7 train sets being ordered, powered by Siemens Charger locomotives or SC44s, or the old EMD F59 PHI engines. And one more thing, BNSF has placed a rule forbidding venture cab cars from leading Gold Runner trains. And to solve this issue, Caltrans decided to put their older Bilevel cab cars in front of the venture cab cars so it can lead the train without the venture cab car pulling the train. And yes, this may seem really weird, but there's quite a bit of these concepts everywhere. Now, let's go take a look at the newer trains and service expansions of Amtrak's Capital Corridor and Gold Runner. Well everyone, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed knowing more about the service expansions on Amtrak's Capital Corridor and Gold Runner train services. Also, feel free to like and comment on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the main line.